Hey guys, welcome to another video. It's Davey G here. So today I want to talk about Sandbox. So many of you have already probably been made aware of Sandbox, mainly through its parabolic price rise. So one of the primary reasons for its massive exponential rise is the release of something called alpha, which basically just means the game went from development to basically you can play it now. Although there's a lot of things to be updated, it's a working product now, and that caused a lot of hype, and people got on the gravy train as soon as they could. Or perhaps Sandbox was brought to your attention because the $650,000 yacht that was purchased as an NFT in the game. Perhaps someone wanted to host some parties in the metaverse. Perhaps it was some company that wanted to do some advertising with it. We've also got SoftBank investing $150 million into Sandbox. So I want to talk about what is Sandbox, why are people investing so much money into it, and most importantly, how could we use this opportunity to make money as crypto investors? So Sandbox acts as a new platform to monetize content. For instance, pulling out the map here, you can see just how much land was purchased by major companies. Of course, there's a lot of different social media influencers in there as well, but there's a lot of big brand action going in here. And in my opinion, their purpose is to directly market to consumers or to build brand awareness. As the owner of a large estate, Binance, for instance, could have free-to-play mini games on their lands with rewards being promotional discounts or offers for their service. If you're a fashion brand, you could test out consumer sentiment by promoting items in the game first to see if it's worth creating the product in real life. As a landowner, regardless of whether you're a big company or just an individual, one of your primary purposes for owning land is to actually get people on your land and participate with your content. And one reason, the most obvious reason, is purely monetary. For instance, you could charge people sand to play certain games that are available on your land. Or perhaps you just want to have the most popular land in the Sandbox Metaverse. Maybe you just want to be a popular, well-liked guy that has a lot of cool shit and you want people to see, and you just want to be popular. Or perhaps it's a social media person who simply wants to engage with his fans and he actually has no monetary interest. Or perhaps that person wants to refer you to an affiliate product. But I feel like the ways in which to make money differs from simply generating clicks and eyeballs into revenue. Because first and foremost, Sandbox is a gaming platform, and whilst the possibilities of what you can do in this world are endless, most people will be motivated by the gaming experience. Okay, so what I've got up here is Sandbox Alpha. This is pretty much what people have been waiting for 4 years, and why the price is skyrocketing so much. So this is the currently released version of the game. Now I feel like it's primarily just to give you a taste of what's to offer, because you can't really access anything that's available on the map I just showed you so far. But let's actually just go have a look around and just see what's available. You can see the graphics are pretty crisp. I do have like a pretty fast computer, but I found that there's like pretty much no lag that I've experienced here. And just to give you a look around, you can see that some celebrities have staked their claim in the land. Snoop Dogg, you've got some company here, Atari. What I'm wanting to show you now is this is like an NFT gallery. One of the interesting things about this place is that, if you've got some land, maybe you build a house and you just want to house your NFTs there. And you invite people over to your house. Maybe you want to have an NFT party. So one way to attract people to your land is having a bunch of NFTs that people can come and look at. It's going to be the equivalent in the future of going to someone's $10 million mansion and checking out their Ferrari and their Mona Lisa. But you can kind of see how these kinds of things could be turned into a business. For example, perhaps on your land you have a bunch of games that charge sand to play, and in the game are featured some rare NFTs that attract people and make the game kind of more high value. And then you get richer and richer from the sand you generate. Then you buy more and more NFTs to put on land, which attracts more and more people, and maybe you do some NFT giveaways. And to do those giveaways, people have to participate by giving sand. So that's just one little idea. Okay, and something else I want to show you is the place where you can actually play and make games. So Sandbox Alpha is just in such a beginner stage. There isn't really a whole lot going on in that world. It's just, as I mentioned, just almost kind of like a little teaser to show you what is going to be in store in the future. But what I'm paying attention to personally is the place in which you can actually test some games and make games. So I'm going to show you a few now. Okay, we're going to play Desert Full of Enemies. Okay, so this is just some world that someone's created, and looking at the game maker tool, you know, none of this stuff seems extremely complicated to make, and from what I understand, you don't need any ability with scripting. You don't really need you know, any really profound you don't really need anything when it comes to developing video games. So it's pretty similar to Minecraft, and as you can see, we've got an inventory here, just kind of similar to Minecraft. You can pick stuff up from mobs that you loot, and you also have the ability to collect NFTs when you play the video game. Okay, try to survive. Okay, alright, I'm already dead. Okay, so someone's game is just they've spawned a million mobs, and you just have to left click as fast as you can. Yeah, and here's a game that someone looks like they've put a lot more effort into. Yeah, something I wanted to say about this whole experience is that I think this is probably about as early as you can get on being able to be a creator in some kind of crypto thing, because, you know, like if you wanted to be creative for anything else, you know, you really needed some kind of programming experience to make smart contracts or dApps or something like that. I really don't think making this stuff is any more complicated than making something in Minecraft. It just takes a lot of time and patience, and if you get good enough at it and you build enough of a following, you know, you could probably get rewarded for it in some ways that we're going to discuss in a sec. Okay, now let's actually get into the nitty-gritty and talk about ways that we can make money using Sandbox. So number one, I'd say one of the simplest ways is to provide liquidity to a liquidity pool so others can trade via Uniswap. That's one way. I think something that's slightly better than doing liquidity swaps is just staking it on Binance. You can get 12.36% APY for that. I think that's pretty good. And one other method is just simply joining the speculation game. If you think this is going to go up now, you can buy land and you can sell it at a higher price, just like real estate investing, but just in the metaverse. And you could do the same with NFTs as well. You can buy these things on OpenSea. So those are three methods that I've given you, but I would say one of the best methods to try is making money with the way that you were kind of intended to make money with, and that is by having land and monetizing that land on your own. So this is really the main reason why people would want to buy land in the first place, and there are a number of options you can use. So first, let's assume you're not a social media influencer or a large business owner or a person selling a product or a service. You could just be a guy with a bit of money to play with, and you've bought some land. One thing you can do with your land is to have a game there, and then you charge people sand in order to play. This is going to be one of the most popular methods of making money, but considering the Sandbox will be full of free-to-play games, the only way I could see this being profitable in the long run is if this was a really special game that's worth having a pay-to-play experience. Otherwise, no one will end up playing it. Luckily, there are many game developers working on games right now that are being tested all the time. So you might find there's a really popular game that's simply existing as a draft, and the game creator might just be waiting for the right opportunity to find some landowner they can do a profit sharing thing with, and you as a landowner can let him put the game on your land. You can share the profits that way. Another idea is hosting various competitions on your land. For instance, perhaps you can have some kind of obstacle course where everyone has to pay 0.1 sand to play. Then if you get 10 people to play, the winner gets 0.9 sand, leaving with a profit of 0.1 sand. Those are just some ideas on how you can monetize your land. You could also do a competition where there's an entry price and the winner gets an NFT. Then you just make the total amount you make from entry fees more than the NFT itself. But all these things are small bucks compared to the kind of money you could make if you were an actual advertiser or a media influencer, or you had some kind of product to sell. So we already discussed how big companies could make money doing this, but instead, if you had your own product or your own service, you could get people to come to your land using similar methods as I described just now, like make a competition, NFT giveaways. You can tempt people in with free games, and in the end, maybe you could give them some kind of special deal for the product or service you're providing. And let's just say, what if you don't have a product or a service that you can sell to people? Well, something simple is you can easily become an affiliate for something. So because we're already in the crypto space, perhaps you could be an affiliate for Bybit or one of these exchanges. And if you own some land, get people on your land, and you can basically shill your own product there and offer them special discounts and basically do the same thing I described. Maybe you've got an NFT giveaway, and top prize is an NFT giveaway, and then the top 3 winners after that get some kind of special deal with Bybit or something like that. And so even if you don't have a product or service to sell on your own, you could easily do affiliate work for some other product or service, and you can basically direct traffic and eyeballs to that service you're offering. So the last method would be to become an actual game creator. As I mentioned, you can make games quite simply without even needing to know any programming or script. I haven't pulled up the game editor itself, but it's very much just like dragging and dropping sprites and giving them some kind of behavior, some AI behavior, and it just kind of reminds me a bit of like the old Warcraft 3 editor. You could basically just sell the game to someone, basically sell the rights of the game to someone. I think there's basically going to be a demand for games, because you have to understand that the people that developed the Sandbox, they aren't making the game. They just pretty much made the platform in which games can be built on top of it. So it would be up to the users, such as yourself, to self-generate content, and this content is basically going to be needed for the landowners to have content on their land to get people interested in coming to their land. So if you're just a guy that just makes games, 100%, there'll be people that will be interested in purchasing your games, or perhaps to do some kind of profit sharing thing where if you create the game, they'll give you 50% of the profit. If they'll host it on their land, and you basically keep 50% of it. That's something that may be possible in the future. But all these things are so early days that I'm basically just brainstorming. This isn't something that I've read. This is just some ideas that I've come up with. And I hope if you're interested, you can go and download the Game Maker tool and just have a play around with it. Just see what kind of stuff you could create. And just remember that you're early enough that you could be a pioneer in this content. Alright guys, that's enough for this video. I hope this has been informative for you. And guys, if you were interested in buying sand and perhaps staking it to get that 12% APY on Binance, you can sign up with the link below and you'll get 10% off spot trading fees forever. So definitely check that out, and like and subscribe if you find this content interesting, and I'll see you later.